Yes, we are. Yes, we are. All right. Thank you very much for joining me. My name is Swadik Mayanja. You guys can call me Q. And this is the Q the Nurse channel. And on this channel, I bring you news, current events, and fun topics with nurses and healthcare providers everywhere. We got stories up the wazoo today. Starting with Jeffrey Epstein. Everyone and their mother's talking about him. It is Saturday today. It is what, August 10th? And this morning, 6:30 a.m. this morning, he was found dead. So people are thinking that it is indeed a suicide. I think so. I don't believe I'm a conspiracy theory type kind of guy, but something is a little too fishy. A little too fishy about this situation. He knew way too many people. There were way too many people involved. The Clintons, the Trumps, more billionaires than you can count. Some fishy stuff, but we're going to talk Jeffrey Epstein. We're going to talk how Texas is further loosening their firearm laws, which is insane. We're going to talk about a lady, that crazy lady. I don't know if you've seen, Charlemagne the God gave her donkey of the day a couple of days ago. She lied about having HIV. Who in God's green earth would ever do such a crazy? I don't know. I know I wouldn't. I mean, who would do such things? But someone did. We'll talk about her. And then there is a competition for this week's Nurse of the Week. It's exciting. I love it when there is more good nursing credit to give around. But that's the situation we are in today. So you guys are gonna really have to bear with me because this is my first time going live on the Facebook, on the YouTubes. So just please bear with me, slow and steady, but we'll go story by story. All right, so starting with Jeffrey Epstein. So convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein hanged himself this morning, and the officials said they found him at 6:30 a.m., which I think is really scary, which is really, it's a shitty situation. We don't want anyone to, I don't believe in the death penalty, so I don't think, the state, I just don't think death is a good idea. Him being in prison forever for the things that he did, he was a bad guy. And for those who don't know, let me tell you what he did, because he is indeed a bad guy. Last month he was charged with sex trafficking of girls as young as 14 years of age, which is insane. If anyone is going to go to prison for the rest of their life, that's the person you want to be in prison for the rest of their life. And that's indeed what I wanted for Jeffrey Epstein. But yes, obviously committed suicide, or at least that's what we know so far. So he had avoided, and this is from 2008, he had avoided federal criminal charges in 2008 after prosecutors brokered a widely criticized deal that allowed him to plead guilty to state charges of solicitation of prostitution for a minor and serve only 13 months in jail. So basically what happened is back in 2008 is he was charged for the same exact crimes. This is the craziness, the insanity of him only spending 13 months in jail for what he did. Understand something. And those 13 months, I'm not even going to go into the details of that, but those 13 months that he was in jail, it wasn't actually in jail. He was there for 12 hours out of the day, 6 days a week, and outside of that time, he had time to go work. He only needed to come to the jail cell at night, and this is in Florida. The insanity that's happening in Florida, I don't know, I don't understand it, but justice was going to be served, right? People, the victims of those crazy, insane crimes, were going to finally get some justice, but he committed suicide. And the reason the internet is blowing up, the reason everyone is really upset, the reason all of this is happening is because just last month, a week after being denied bail on federal sex trafficking charges, Mr. Epstein was found unconscious in his cell at the jail with marks on his neck. Prison officials had been investigating that incident and for a possible suicide attempt. So they put him on suicide watch, and during his suicide watch, he was receiving daily psychiatric evaluations. According to the person familiar with the detention, he was removed from suicide watch. So understand. So he was charged, and he was this was let me say a month ago. So the beginning of the July is when this first incident happened. And then by July 29th, they took him off suicide watch because after having those daily psychiatric evaluations, they considered him to be okay, right? So I'm looking at this from a nurse's perspective. And from a nurse's perspective, I can't hate too much, because 2 weeks, 3 weeks on being on suicide watch. Yes, he attempted suicide, or that was the inclination. People didn't know if it was attempted suicide or people in jail, or shit just went down in jail. But either way, he had 2 to 3 weeks of being on suicide watch. They finally took him off of suicide watch on July 29th. And then today, this fine morning, we found him dead in his jail cell. So from a nurse perspective, from a healthcare perspective, he had the psychiatric doctor evaluate him daily for a week, for more than a week. So if they decided that he was off of suicide watch, that's the decision they decided to make, right? I don't know what the laws and regulations are in jail cells, but maybe I would think if someone attempted to kill themselves or we weren't sure, maybe have a camera there. I really hope there is some kind of footage, because this shit is way too convenient, right? For those elites, for our current president and a former president were in cahoots with the man who had a sex trafficking scheme with minors. This is insane. This is insane. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I need y'all to let me know in the comments. Do you believe this BS? Because I sure don't. I definitely don't believe any of it. Any of it. Not even once. I'm telling you, I don't like these conspiracies, but this is something I definitely am super fishy about. If it is true, if they were just incompetent, if people just didn't know, if he actually just killed himself and he was off suicide watch and there's no one to blame, that's the truth. And if it's the truth, it's the truth. We can't argue with it, but we need a legit investigation to find out if it's legit. If it's legit. Moving on, all right? So until we find out more information, I don't want to be speculating out the wazoo, because right now you can say the Clintons did it. Right now you can say people from the right side, the Trump's family. You could say 1 million people did it, because he was in cahoots with 1 million people, and he was about to squeal hardcore. Like, who's that dude? The 69, the dude with the colorful hair. You guys know what I'm talking about. But he was about to squeal, and a lot of people said, "Oh no, you're not. Not today. You're not. Not today. You're not." The conspiracy theorist inside of me is bubbling up too quickly for my liking. So let's get an investigation. Let's find out who did it, and let's get to the core of the issue. All right, Jeffrey Epstein. I don't even want to say rest in peace, but rest in peace. Okay. Hopefully we find the facts, and hopefully justice. It's hard. Justice can't be served now. He's dead, right? He's dead. Justice is not going to be served. But I hope those who did have a civil suit against him will get at least some financial backing after this entire situation, because the civil suit, what's it called? Court hearings can continue, all right? But the criminal obviously can't, because he's dead. All right, moving on. So Texas to loosen firearm laws allowing guns in churches and on school grounds. So a week ago we had 2 back-to-back shootings. Unless you were living under a rock, 2 back-to-back shootings a week ago, one in El Paso and one Dayton, Ohio. So so you guys are clear, this law, House Bill 1143, that is going to allow guns in churches and on school grounds, was passed prior to the massacre of the 22 people in the Walmart in El Paso. But with that being said, after this happens, and it's like, the thing is that, yeah, you want to say, oh my goodness, it happened, they passed the law, but it's not like this is the first shooting that's happened in Texas. There's been many shootings. But let me just give you the details of the situation, and then I'll tell you how I feel. So a series of new firearm laws will go into effect in Texas next month, which is September, which would be loosening gun restrictions in the state that had 4 of the 10 deadliest mass shootings in modern U.S. history. And instead of saying, let's rethink how many guns we have flowing in the streets, in the schools, in the churches, and in the movie theaters in Texas, no, let's pump it with some more guns. Let's allow people to take guns more places, and hopefully that will keep people safe. The insanity of that thought process, it makes me sick inside. All right, so let's go down this bill, and you guys you won't believe it, but here it is. All right, so House Bill 1143 says that school districts cannot prohibit licensed gun owners, including school employees, from storing a firearm or ammunition in a locked vehicle on school parking lot. So if you want to take your AK-47, your shotgun, your pistol, your handgun, you want to put it in your car as long as it's in a locked place inside your car, you can keep it there. Load it, unload it. It doesn't matter if it's on the ground, if it's on school, if it's in your car, and if it's locked in your car, you can take it to school. So if you get upset, if you're in a fight, whatever, if you want to run to your car and pick up a gun, I don't. All right, that's 1 of 5, ladies. 1 of 5. Moving on. 2. It loosens restrictions on how many armed school marshals a school district can appoint. So this is the right side of the whole argument of good guys with a gun can beat the bad guys with a gun. So how many marshals are you really going to have? I don't know the actual details of what the number is right now, but it makes it so that you can have more marshals at schools. I mean, think about this, ladies. Like, do you want to live in a society where when you go to school, you feel more safe? When you go to school, you see armed marshals in front of the school, in the cafeteria, at the basketball. Is this what we want? I know it's not what I want. It's not. I just find this to be insane. That's 2. Number 3, it bans homeowners and landlords of rental properties from prohibiting residents from lawfully possessing, carrying, transporting, or storing a firearm or ammunition in the property. So this one I'm a little, so if you have these open gun laws in Texas and you renting out a house to someone, I am the crazy anti-gun guy, but if the laws in Texas say everyone and their mother can have a gun, to tell someone who's renting a house that you can't have a gun, I feel some type of way about it. I'm just saying, in the situation, if you're gonna just look at this fair is fair, then if your neighbor has a gun and your other neighbor has a gun, and I think this is the one I'm least upset about. But hold your horses, because here comes number 4. It prohibits residents from being charged with a crime for carrying a handgun while evacuating from a state or local disaster area. So if there's a tsunami, if there's, I don't know, a tornado, I don't know what happens in Texas, what weather disasters happen in Texas, whatever the disaster is, if there is a disaster, you can carry a handgun with you. That's whatever. And then this last one really freaks me out, because we all know that there was a church shooting in Texas a little bit last year. It allows licensed handgun owners to legally carry their weapons in places of worship, and comes nearly 2 years after a gunman killed 26 people at the Sutherland Springs Church. Right? So this law was passed before the 22 people were killed in El Paso this past weekend, but it was passed after the 26 people were killed in Sutherland Springs Church. So after the Sutherland Springs Church massacre, they decided, you know what? What if we had people in the church that had guns, so we could fight back the people outside the church who want to bring guns? You guys, this hurts. It hurts to the core of who I am as a human being. I don't understand the need for people to be taking guns to schools, to be taking guns to the places of worship, to be taking guns to movie theaters, to these public places. If you want to protect yourself, yes, keep it in your house, next to your whatever, sleep. I don't know, man. Just why all of these public places where everyone wants to go to feel safe and not worry about people carrying these AK-47s? The news just broke today. There was a couple of people, both in Ohio and in Texas, where people are walking around with loaded assault rifles just to prove a point, because they have the open carry laws in these states. I mean, I thank God every single day I live here in Boston, Massachusetts, because I couldn't do it. I'd be scared for my life every single goddamn day, every single day. I can't do it. I'm almost done with the story, but to know who's been pushing this, the senator of Texas. So Senator Donna Campbell, it was the co-sponsor of this bill. She said in a statement, "We have learned many times over that there is no such thing as a gun-free zone. Those with evil intentions will violate the law and carry out their heinous acts no matter what. It makes no sense to disarm the good guys and leave law-abiding citizens defenseless where violent offenders break the law to do great harm." I disagree with that, and does wholeheartedly. More guns doesn't solve the problem. I think more guns make everything worse. Everything worse. So stop it. Please stop it. Yes, I'm crazy. I'm a psycho, right? And here, I think we need to do a buyback program. I think we need to start getting these guns off the streets. That's what I want, right? but at least stop where we are. In Texas, they're not stopping where they are. They're saying, let's do more guns for more people in more places. That is supposed to be the safe thing to do, the happy place. I don't know. I don't understand it. I don't get it, and it hurts me. It hurts me. Just to give you a quick history of who she is, I promise I'll be done after this. In 2014, when she was running for a re-election, Donna Campbell earned an A+ rating from the endorsement and the endorsement of the NRA. After getting this endorsement, she said, I will continue to push for legislation that guarantees the right to defend our families and block any efforts to disarm Texas citizens. It's just the worst thing ever. A+ rating from the NRA. We know that the NRA is a corporation. That pushes for guns because all they care about is that bottom dollar, and that bottom dollar, they only get that bottom dollar to increase if more people are buying guns and using guns. It's insane to me. It's just insane to me. Okay? So let's move from that scary situation to a little lighter note, which I just think is hilarious because I don't understand the thought process of someone that would decide to tell the world I have HIV. Who is this insane lady, right? So her name is Brandy Lassiter. She is a revenge-seeking woman that went viral on Facebook for telling the men in her past, her exes, the boys, the ladies, the gentlemen, the people who were intimate with her, that made her feel some type of way. She said, you know what? Forget y'all. I am going to let you and the world know that I have HIV. I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
I am HIV positive. Roy, you HIV positive. Jeff, you HIV positive. DeMonte, bitch, you HIV positive.
Anyways, so she wanted to punish the men of Americus, Georgia, who allegedly wronged her. She set her plan into motion last week on a Facebook live feed claiming to be HIV positive and broadcasting that she had intentionally infected her past sexual partner. So not only did she say to the world, I am HIV positive, I just want to let you cheaters know out there, want to let you bimbos, your fuck boys out there know that I am HIV. She says, no, I intentionally infected it, which makes everything worse, all right? I keep wanting to say Lannister, but her last name is Lassiter. But, you Lannisters pay their debts, and Homegirl was coming packed, ready to... She's insane. She's insane. As a nurse, I think this is just... As a healthcare provider, as a human being, I think this is probably the craziest thing I've ever heard in my... Who does this? Who does this? So, Lassiter said that the video was a lie, obviously, and that she was not HIV positive. Lassiter shared results of a 2018 blood test with the police department to corroborate the most recent version of the alleged bill of her alleged bill of health. She also agreed to take a second blood test, which we found out today that came out negative. She took the second test and it came back negative, so she doesn't have HIV, which is a really, really good thing for her and everyone that's hooked up with her. But I'm trying to put myself in a situation where a crazy ex is gonna tell the world, not just send me a text message, by the way, homeboy, I got HIV, you better in many states, this is a problem. Like, okay, let me just say, look, so in several states, failure to disclose HIV positive status is indeed a crime, even if the person uses a condom and is on antiviral medication. So, not only is it a crime to have HIV and not tell someone, but even if you're using a condom and being protected and taking the medication, it is considered a crime. But this lady not only says I have HIV, but she said she wanted to. She intentionally infected other people. Psychotic. And specifically in Georgia, under Georgia law, HIV positive individuals are required to reveal their diagnosis to intimate partners. Exposing another to the virus during a sexual encounter without disclosure is a felony punishable by up to 10 years in prison. It's a felony, ladies and gentlemen. It's a felony to tell the world that you have HIV. It's a felony to not tell someone you have HIV. This lady said she intentionally tried to infect other people. Insanity. Talk about a horrible patient. Talk about a bad... This lady's insane. She's just the definition of insane. I don't know. Miss Lannister, Miss Lassiter, whatever your last name is, I am sorry, but you are a bad human being. I'm happy that you were negative, but I maybe there has to be some kind of consequences, because this would turn my world upside down if some ex told me that they had HIV, right? That, oh my God, oh, I can't. Like, just people have to understand that if you put the list of STDs up there, and I think it's maybe we're too far gone from the 1980s, from when HIV was hitting it the hardest. But I think people forget how bad HIV is. I mean, you think Michael, what's his name? Michael Johnson. Is that Michael Johnson? Yeah, Michael Johnson. No. Who is it? Right? Magic. Yeah, it's Michael Johnson. Everyone thinks Magic just because, oh, he's a billionaire, he's living long. He's not the average Joe who has HIV. He's the least, he's the exception from the rule. This disease, this virus takes over your life, your body for forever. It can continue in birth. Like, this is a serious issue. People just forget. Maybe people just forget. Moving on. So there's a contest this week, and you guys can let me know who the nurse of the week is, because we've got two people that have been doing some two great things for nurses everywhere, just making us look better every single goddamn day, and I'm proud to say it. Right. So number one, there's a no Haitians need apply was written on a staffing agency's in a newspaper for a staffing agency, and one of the nurses, her name, I tried to say her name, I don't know how to say it, so please bear with me here. Berthlide Dufresne. So I'll just call her Nurse Dufresne from here on. But Nurse Dufresne, she went viral on Facebook because she challenged. So someone told her about this, and then she went on Facebook and posted about it, about the staffing agency that literally says in its ad for nurses, said no Haitians need apply. This set the internet aflame and pushed Nurse Dufresne to the center of conversation about race, which I think is always a good thing. Let's talk about it. And then she says here, somebody called my attention to the article. I read it and I was like, what the heck? What? I took to Facebook and just put it out there, asking people to help me get the word out. It really did get the word out indeed. The NAACP sued and were able to get some aid for the United Negro College Fund. Is it really still called the United Negro College Fund? I feel like, I don't know. I feel weird. I know it, I think the N in NAACP is Negro, but you never say you always just say the acronym NAACP. But the United Negro College Fund, it's just, I don't know. I feel like I'm in 1945. I don't know. I just don't like saying it. Anyways, so a lot of good, she said, a lot of good came from this, but the bad that came from this, the staffing agency left and went somewhere else after being sued. I think, you win some, you lose some, but it's good that you put it out there. So the next agency, the next hospital, the next whatever that's posting for nurses, you can't say no Haitians apply. You can't say no Russians apply. What are you doing? It's 2019. Who do you think what in God? Insane. And I just don't understand it. But Nurse Dufresne, thank you for putting it out there. I like what you do. I'm all about the social. Obviously, you see me doing this right now. So when nurses go out and speak their mind and tell people what aggravates them, what's causing friction in the community, in healthcare, whatever the situation is, it just makes me as a healthcare provider, as a nurse, happy. So Nurse Dufresne, thank you for what you're doing, putting the word out there. It makes the world a little bit better moving forward. Final story of the day, and hopefully it's maybe the nurse of the week. You guys are gonna help me decide here. But so the other nurse of the week, Andrew Lunn, dived into. Let's just tell you the story. So this is in Salisbury, Florida. And this nurse jumped into a river to save a man's life. He works at a nursing home. And he said, according to the police, the 55-year-old driver who the nurse saved, who Andrew saved, accidentally backed into a river from the nursing home side. And the nurse who works in the nursing home, Andrew Lunn, ran out the door, jumped into the water, and went to go save him. Maybe in Florida you can do this all year round, but thank God it's summer, because if that happened here, oh, that's a whole different story. And number two, I don't swim. I always thought about this situation. I'm not a swimmer. If some shit goes down, all I can do is scream at the top of my lungs, help, and call 911. I don't know if I have it in me to jump into water, because I could barely make it out of water. trying to save someone from a car that's being submerged into a river. Andrew Lund, all the credit in the goddamn world to ya, right? Because that shit scares me. I mean, for those nurses out there we're in a hospital, a healthcare facility, taking care of a patient, and they go unconscious, so they, stop breathing, or they go in cardiac arrest. That anxiety-filled, anxious, scary situation, multiply that by 1,000. Someone who's in a car being submerged in a river, and you decide to dive into the river to go save that man's life. Ooh, Andrew Lund, credit to you, Nurse Dufresne, shouting out and making noise for these racist, anti-hate. I don't understand what the world's going through today, but I do understand that these two nurses make us look better every single day. So to Andrew Lund, thank you so much for what you did. You are indeed a hero. That's some badass shit. And to everybody listening and dealing with my very first live stream here on YouTube, thank you. I really do appreciate this. I like it. I think this is enjoyable. And the reason I wanted to start doing these live streams is because when I recorded by myself without using this, it takes me forever to upload it, and then I want to edit it. And when you edit something that isn't live, you want to take out all the ums, the ahs, the pauses, all the hiccups. But when it's live, it's out there. It's out there. So it just makes everything streamlined, makes it a lot easier for me. But for those listening to it in the future on the podcast version, I am in love with you. Thank you so very much. And everyone here watching, please there's going to be a link in the comment in the description box below. Please go to my podcast, Q the Nurse Podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. Rate it, review it, leave me them 5 stars, because goddamn it, I need it. Get my name up there with all the other good nurses, with all the other good nurse podcasts out there. So thank you. I'll catch you guys on the flip, and deuces.